سبحان خالق الإصباح.
Yes, that's right. Back from Epstein Island, my slang is editorial, explicit material. Deep State Show, live in stereo flow, feel me. Hamin, the real G, with the vet back, ready to light the fuse. Mox is out of rehab. Let's slay some demons, infidels. This one's for you, Big Sill. YOLO.
Hello?
Yeah, we'll get them all in here, man. But
first of all, you gotta give me my favorite one, Ben. First of all.
Oh, you like first of all?
Yes.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
Some classics here. Is she likes to go on the sheets for no reason. Like nobody wants to protect their comeback. They want to blow it off with some little hot takes for Twitter that pay them nothing. But we'll be up a little more than nothing, hopefully, in 2022 as we expand. And the vet is here to fill in for the Chris Silvio, who had his arm cut on yesterday, our OVW brother. But, man, Vet, you've, in my opinion, I mean, we haven't even gotten to it because we've got a lot going on, but the Hammies will be coming up. Man, talk about a guy who's got to be earning a couple of these this year. You've really been just an all-star, jumping in whenever we need you because you are the vet and ready to lace them up at any time. I just wanted to give you some appreciation and say thank you, Vet, for all you've done for HMG in the past year, dude.
Oh, it was easy. All you got to do is watch a little wrestling and then talk about it. You know, I can't I can't overemphasize what I do, but it is a lot of fun, and I appreciate the platform. Ben, you invited me on here about a year ago now, maybe a couple days over a year, but it's been my pleasure to kind of take my spot, and it just sort of happens to where everybody's kind of like hey, Vet, you think you could fill in for me here? Or, hey, Vet, you want to just come on here and be a third man? Or, hey, this, hey, that. And I'm just like, because of my schedule, working nights, it's really accommodates the hours the HMG is usually operating. So it's usually no problem for me to just hang out with you guys for a couple hours and talk about some bullshit wrestling. So, but
killing it. I mean, all the way around, it's just, and there's a little something going on. And don't think I don't see this new cool kids clique, the VBC. That's the buzz in the underground that's forming here. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk about the inner circle breaking up. Is the VBC ready to move right into that spot as the new hottest clique in wrestling here? So
Could be.
If you're not listening to the Impact Attack with the VBC, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're not.
We're booking Impact over there. Is what's happening. Like you cannot tell me it's a coincidence that for 10 years or whatever they've been playing music behind every backstage interview, and then I come on there, start complaining about it, and inside of 6 months, like they shut it down. Like you can't tell me that they just decide out of nowhere.
Right here on the sorry, 1 second here, just getting hit up by the beautiful people as well.
Please take your time.
Just scheduling their next VIP meeting. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I wanted to bring that up. That was actually Angelina Love hitting me up, who was just at OVW, but we'll get back to that. And as I have to kayfabe, the beautiful people to talk to my man, the vet. Does that tell you how much I appreciate you?
Well, I'm beautiful in my own way, so I'd like to think they would understand. But Ben, with all the love, we've had a year of love between us, but it's time to bring up some heat. You got a little heat with me, Ben.
Oh shit, let's get it out here. Come on,
let's do it. So I was checking out, as I always do. I like to check out my guys on Rampage Uncaged. Dr. Jargo, Chris Ames, and Jimmy T, of course. I love them. And you happened to pop in onto an episode, right? And I was half in the bag. It was fucking well. Exactly. So the heat is nothing with that. That is not the heat. Those were some of the best promos I've ever heard you cut, Ben, on those women in their little street fight. And I'm just sitting here like, how come I don't get this, Ben? If I would have known that all it takes is to get you a little sauced up or whatever, and I get some hellacious, oh shit, sip it because we got some stuff to talk about today.
What time is it? 1:40. You got to do it.
Yeah, like guys, I'm used to getting the kind and gentle Ben who's saying, "Oh yeah, I love how Johnny Gargano's in the closet on Dexter Lumis's honeymoon." Like oh, that's the Ben I get. I want the fiery. I want the Ayatollah Ben. He just needs to take a few drinks, I guess, is all. So.
I was deep into it that night, and that match made me irate, bro. And it's in our tonight, so. Yeah, man. 5 o'clock somewhere, 2 o'clock. Here we go, kids. This one's for the Chris Silvio and in honor of the vet jumping in, baby.
Yes, pour one out down the gullet. Yeah, if you guys have not heard Rampage Uncaged, go find it and listen to Ben tear these women apart. Even half in the bag, he's more coherent than everything AEW's ever done combined.
Well, I appreciate that. Those are one of those days where you wake up the next day like I was New Year's and rant and rave, and they were there, and those guys are putting in the hours. So let me do a run in and appreciate them, and they
loved it. They loved it. You could hear the reverence in their voices when you showed up.
It's rare that I do hot takes like that anymore because we're getting great interaction and feedback. If something sucks, we're going to say it sucks, no doubt. And I'm probably going to say it about a couple things on this show. But I mean, with whatever happened in the other situation, and I say I want to do good business while being critical and honest, that's a tough line to fucking walk in wrestling. Without trying to get yourself over like you're looking for a gig. In that same week, real talk about Killer Cross's situation, Cross puts it over. Real talk about how good Boogs is doing, Boogs puts it over. Real talk about McAfee answers and responds. Real talk about and Cross, and he responds. Like, it's not like I have to mark out for these guys. We're in the same business. I've worked with more legends than most of them have. And paid my dues and earned my stripes, and Stevie's there and Vince is there. I don't have to quantify myself to anybody. And even Kaz just hit me up from Impact. They were talking about, God damn it, forgive me, it's going to make me forget. She was the blonde who dresses like Tinkerbell, I think, in the women's division. Oh, shit. She's been on the indies forever. Kaz sent it to me. Regardless.
Kimberly?
Kimberly, I think, talking, there was talk about her you guys were doing and putting something over, and she liked it. It was something management wise or something like that. But dude, like that's what we're here to do, is fundamentally support the business with real commentary. Sometimes I'll do hot takes and it's like, oh, here we go. Don't put that out there. That's not the look I want. If subscribers like that stuff, that's fine. That Rampage show was a special kind of fucking red hot, but man, that's just how it is. When we do that kind of
we do this in the service of entertaining.
Well,
when we bury stuff, it's not because we have something personal against most of these people, unless otherwise noted, of course, which we probably will otherwise note in fairness, but. Right. We have to suffer through a lot of this content, so we have to have some fun with it, and we have to bury some of the stuff. And I just hope they don't take it too personal. Yeah, exactly.
If they are, then you're a mark for your fucking
Well, Ben, I will say this though: there's one thing that hasn't changed from the dawn of pro wrestling all the way till now. The one thing that hasn't changed is fragile egos. So it doesn't matter if you were Luthez or friggin' one of these guys that's rushing to Twitter to see all the impressions they got off their latest match. Fragile egos. This business was built on fragile egos.
I'm guilty of it too. I'm not going to say I'm a thicker skin than most, but I want to set all that to wrap that around because of what you were saying, that they're listening, you're booking and things are going on. Everybody sees everything all the time, and they are listening, because even with Silvio and I saying on this, You can't just march guys out there and go, they did business on Dark and they did this and that and not show anybody. All we need is a 60-second recap. They did it this week. I don't know about last week because I didn't watch. The week before they did it for the first time, to quantify these little storylines. And it's things like that where we bitch about it and da-da-da. We might say 50 other things, but if that's what gets through, then that's what is getting through. And when I say everybody's listening, then you see once these guys are free that they will put something over. Even guys who are calling SmackDown are talking to us. So I'm not going to waste my time with negativity and hot takes as my thing to put out there. That show was one thing, but you are right that we do have an influence, and we always have. Even when we were in DCW, there were things that were trickling up to mainstream TV that were getting stolen. So we've always had our fucking finger in the pie in one way or another, man.
Wouldn't you agree that we wouldn't have had the Shield if it wasn't for the Army of Two? Let's be realistic about this. Come on.
Well, you could fucking make the argument because this is well, let me take it into another way, that Bailey doesn't know what she's talking about as she's trying to protect Prince Pretty with some weird tweets about Austin Theory doing the selfies, and like she sells for Tyler Breeze, who is at that time, I mean, and they're all friends, they came through NXT together or whatever, but his gimmick was taken from Eye Candy Ali when Ali switched from the Insurgency. And Ali took it from when we reinvented the Alaskan Assassin as Mr. Cosmo from his modeling career. So if you want to take back the steps of where it was stolen from and gotten on TV, you can go back 16 years to when we took a fucking goof who could barely tie his shoes, who had a look and would cut these weird promos, turn them into a model Rick Martel style. Ali took that and turned it into the fucking origins of that. Got boosted, went to FCW with it with fucking Tyler Breeze, and now it's at Austin Theory's level. So people don't know the chain of events of who steals from who in this type of shit. And if you really want to go into it on other things, tell me Dalton Castle, who I have tons of respect for, is my OVW brother, who was a utility wrestler, one of the best in the business to help get guys over and could fucking go with anybody. And at the same time, or a little before that Jimmy Paradise, Silvio's tag partner, wasn't doing the entire fucking Dalton Castle gimmick that got Dalton over, and Paradise took it partially from Rico. So everybody is mea culpa in this fucking mafia, man, So, and when we do good work and people see things and they put it over, that's just a good feeling for the social media guys who are clipping shows and clipping these Russo brand and Hamin Media Group clips to get them out there. Their work means something as far as like letting them sleep better at night, or hey, people see what the job we're doing. When McAfee answers you, that's what I dream about, being a guy of that level, to be a $30 million, to take HMG to that, built from the ground up with organic support, bro, on our own thing. What more is there in this lifetime to leave behind? A legacy, a catalog, and build a squad of people who fucking actually did something to try and raise up the industry without having to be inside the machine getting ground up. That's a pretty, I sit back and think about that. I'm like, wow, if that's where we can steer this spaceship, then, we
got to. And for that exact reason, because man, you watch all these shows, so do I. The most disheartening thing is watching them get ground up in the machine. Yeah. And we give, some people we kind of maybe lose focus and give them a hard time, not really taking into account the kind of shit that we don't know exactly the things. We get a sense of it, but we don't know exactly what they have to dance around every single day. Think of all the grinding of the travel they have just to get to the building to sit around and do nothing all day. Like that wears on you. You're going to lose your damn mind. It doesn't matter how much of a mind you had when you started. You're going to get it like sucked out of your ears by the time you spend like 3 months in that place. And everybody that's come from there will tell you that.
I think then what you need to do is have that going in there, not the blind fucking, I finally made it, and be like, all right, whatever, I'm going to sit here. I'm already working on my next plan while I'm working for them. I know that is what it's going to be. So instead of being miserable and selling for it, I'm kayfabe on my laptop getting XYZ done. You know what I mean? I'm writing the book, I'm doing all that, and they don't have to know about it because now they're paying me to do my own work. So, but everybody there just thinks they're gonna fucking headline WrestleMania and be a star, and that ain't it. And you got a lot of kids.
At this rate, they maybe all will because there's not that many left.
Right.
And WrestleMania is still 2 nights, so there's chances.
I forget the name of it. Let me bring it up real quick here on Watch Wrestling. But you can go to the Fight app, Fight TV app, and check it out if you're definitely a premium subscriber. As we do want to keep the underground and independent wrestling scene alive and thriving. OVW on the 15th, as Angelina Love and Velvet Sky are hitting me up right now, and I have to kayfabe them because the vet's the most important person in my life.
Now, wait 1 second.
Watch the OVW Nightmare Rumble from this past weekend. It's up there on Fight TV or wherever fine wrestling shows are stolen and rewatched. Angelina Love was there. She was like, "Oh, I'm pumped to see you. You're going to be at OVW." I was like, "No, I'm going to be in the Dominican on the beach, but B, I live in the Northeast." She's like, "Oh, I thought you were still there." So. But then also I saw some of our other good brothers, Damian Sandow, Chris Masters there, Mr. Spectacular, and Jesse Goddard's obviously the champ there. And to have him and Chris Masters on the same show against each other, that's a pretty goddamn impressive card. And then our own A show with April Hunter and Aaron the Idol Stevens, aka Damian Sandow. So people are asking me when I'm going to get back down there, which you never know when Hacker might show up and shake things up. But they had a lot of great reunion people there, and it looked like a fun time. And I'm just glad to see him thriving. OVW on as many homes now with the demassification of Roku and on demand with Fight Network. Just great stuff. I don't know how much Triller's involved with anything, but to be able to get your stuff out there and compete at every level while people look for a different way to get their entertainment than the old DirecTV fuck over, it's awesome that they're out there right now.
Yep. That's what's going to have to be eventually. If we ever want things to change, we may never have a wrestlers union, Ben, but what wrestlers can maybe agree to is to stop taking the WWE offers until they really do have no choice. Like there are other places to work and you should not want to willingly go to prison. So until people start acting like, yeah, no, I don't think so. Instead of acting like it's the boyhood dream or the girlhood dream or whatever, right. Until people just start turning down contracts and offers and things like that, things will never change. So, but the side effect of that will be these periphery of independence or whatever that are just on the cusp of something great. They can all thrive with the talent that's going to go there that would have went to the WWE and died. So
sure,
that's the hope that
if you use this 100 group of 100 from No Way to Jose to Scotty Too Hottie to Nia Jax, bro, like I seriously. I have to craft it, and I'll drop the pebble in your pond because I like your mind on a lot of things. Dude, I want to do a year angle, me and Nia Jax on the Indies. I think I can get it done. It ends in a love story, starts in a fucking fat shaming, call me out type shit of everything I did. And, like I want it to be an epic chapter in my career as much as my feud with Dick Justice was. It took me through Roddy Piper and everything else, like there's something.
Ben, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt, Ben.
There's something big there, bro. I know.
Yeah, there's definitely something big there. Yeah. Well, it's probably not going to happen because look, we saw how she got in the business. She's like, oh, I saw my cousin at WrestleMania and thought I wanted to do that. Does she seem like the kind of person that's going to go the Indies route after she already just got her foot in that way? The nepotism route.
She's looking to buy a tractor and she owns a little ranch and farm now. So that's what she's into. But once you're in this mafia, you're in, and there's definitely meat on the bone there. So let's go for it, man. But let's go for this right now. It's your AEW Dynamite review, you guys, for the 19th of January 2022. And to kick off right out of the gate, boom, Wild Thing hits, and out he comes. It's Mox. He's back, and he is fired up, looks lean and mean, looks healthy. And, I'm glad to see him do that. There now, when we get into the promo, it was incoherent and didn't connect and was about a dream of a dark cloud that was laughing at him while he was face down in the dirt. And then he woke up before anything happened. But in the end, he comes back around after a big rah-rah session of me and you. We all got scars and we earned them. And I told that cloud, I'm not afraid of demons. I whip their asses or whatever. Like, well, I thought you woke up before you talked to the cloud. Like, it was very incoherent of like what is supposed to be said. And the reason is this guy is getting his life back together. It's not the time to march him out of 90-day rehab and be like, you're fine now, get out there with the mic. That's not taking care of your performer. I do like Moxley paces around the ring. His nervous energy manifests itself in that. And that's a problem. I know it was kind of his thing in WWE, because you don't have to say a couple scripted lines that were given to him. But when you have happy feet like that, your energy is being wasted in what can go into your promo. And it also is hard for the camera people to follow you. And it's all right to just play to the live house. He plays to the camera. He's a classic NXT WWE guy. So he's been trained the right way for that. And he can move a certain way. But your promos are losing their effect because of that. The back side to side motion and doing full laps around, like that. To me, that is a performer who isn't as confident in what they're saying, because if they were, they'd make sure that the words were what it was. Now you can move a little bit, but when I see that kind of movement in young actors, or they have happy feet, or their arms are doing things that they're not aware of, that's energy that needs to be refocused into your promo. So this, was the Demons promo. And on the Friday Locker Room, I cut a pretty big promo about, I'm tired of hearing about the demons and casting things off that way, especially as an atheist. And to me, that's like just saying, I can't accept the fact that one of my vices got the best of me. And now I got to face myself and reset and go dry for a little while. And Demons leaves the door open, as Stevie will say, for them to fall again and not have to claim responsibility. Now, that being said, I'm not trying to shit on the guy about getting sober. A+ job. And I think they should have an AEW AA group before shows on a Wednesday for a Jeff Hardy, for him, for anybody else who wants to be in there who might need help and still isn't getting it yet. I think that's good corporate culture. But to me, this was kind of pimping out his sobriety to bring him back, and this promo didn't really send home any message except for clap for me, because that's what the AEW faithful do no matter what I say.
I will say, as a non-John Moxley fan, that what you're talking about, the pacing and all that stuff, he's kind of always had that. No matter what condition he's been in, that's just what he does. And I always say, like, why are you doing that? Like, he's just always walking around and doing this weird shoulder thing. And I'm like, does anybody think this is cool? But whatever it is that helps him get through that.
He is cool. I'm not going to say he's not. He's got,
it's kind of not cool though. What really cool person's going to look at John Moxley and think he's cool? Like, why are you moving like that? It's just very undulating. But his speech, he kind of had me with the speech, because it did make sense in a way, at least as much as anything he says. But then he kind of lost me once he started talking about shoving things up asses and the beating the shit out of demons. Like, can I ask a question here to everybody, yourself included, Ben? What is the thing in wrestling where you have to shove something up somebody's ass? Like, why is that a thing? It's just, it's The Rock's fault, isn't it? Isn't it The Rock's fault?
Queers, carnies, and addicts in this business. There's always, dude,
I know, but you ain't got to say it. We know they're doing it, but you don't have to say it in the promo.
When you put on underwear, boots, and oil yourself up to go hug another man and pin him to the ground, it doesn't get any more homoerotic than that. You can act how masculine it is. That's why I like...
Don't tell, Ben. Show, don't tell.
Well, that's why. What do I come out wearing? battle fatigues, a t-shirt. I'm not here to get naked with you and roll around on the ground. I'm here to beat your ass, and I'm here to do it in a very military and tactical way. So like like you want to go see two greased up femboys go ahead and be thick with each other, then that's the next segment. This right here is some violence. So,
Right.
And that's not my spot on the card. If I was a big jacked up sexy man, maybe I would be doing the apartment wrestling boner Fruit of the Loom underwear boner championship, but I'm not. So
Well, that guy's friend is here, and he's not playing that part either. He's supposed to be the tough, rugged, street fighting guy. So like, but he's just got to get that in because it's wrestling, right? And the demons thing that's another WWE thing. That's like these guys, even when they get out, they're still Stockholm syndrome, can't let it go, have to talk in that lingo. You see it all the time. Even more recently, talking about the Impact Attack, and Tom Phillips is there now, and he's still just some of the lingo and some of the cadences and some of the stuff they just can't break it. Demons is what you say when you're doing those WWE docs for the network and DVDs when they used to do those, like when you talk about somebody's, in the biography section, when you talk about when they were on drugs, you say demons, you don't say alcohol, you don't say pills, you don't say steroids, you say demons. And Eddie Guerrero died of demons. The cause of death was demons. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit. So when you hear that, that's WWE code. And he should be the farthest thing away from that, because it's probably why he's an addict now. It probably drove him to drink when he was there. Yes. And he just couldn't get over it. So that's what I would say about that. But here's the best part of this entire thing, Ben, is he made it through 5 minutes without an interruption, which is basically an eternity on this program.
Well, he didn't, because he got interrupted out of the gate by somebody in the crowd who yelled something, and he goes, he said, "Shut the fuck up with your bullshit," and then he get him the fuck out of here. So on TBS, the Superstation, we're dropping F-bombs, which I love.
Well, let's just say scheduled interruptions. There were none. No booked interruptions. I'm on the West Coast, so there's probably a delay on it, maybe. But for me, when I was watching it, it just looked like it skipped ahead something. So I didn't even get to see that. I don't know what happened.
I mean, they've been doing the demon angle for a while, even back in Bardstown, Kentucky, with 50 cent all you can eat fried chicken 5 to 8. So Moose St. Thomas is headlining.
Everything. That's a perfect encapsulation of the South. Everything's either a fast food restaurant or a church.
A church in somebody's garage, absolutely. Yeah, dude. No interruption with whatever, because it's his big moment where everyone's like sober, while they're drinking $9 beers and shit. So,
so what happened there? So what did a fan do? Because I didn't get to see.
A fan yelled something in the beginning when he hit the ring, like, "Get fucking wasted." I don't know what he said, but he goes, "Shut the fuck up." He goes, "You piece of shit." And he goes, "Get that guy the fuck out of here." And and everyone's like, whatever. But AEW apparently not for everybody. You know what I mean? So just whatever. Like, it pops me, man. Like, all that pops me, especially the people in TBS who are buying the product. And they're like, he'd just say, "Fuck, we could have had friends on and paid way less." Now we're gonna have to deal with that. But and it's like you can't go, "Well, he was wasted on camera." He wasn't. Get his drunk ass out of the ring is what the guy said. Mike Martin's saying. But hey, dude, if you can't fucking take it in wrestling, that's what you got to do as a heckler. And all Moxley would have had to do is say, "Hey, don't worry about it. You can have mine, buddy. Get one on me." You know what I mean? To take that around. He goes, "I can't have him anymore," and make light of it. Instead, he sold for it right away, dropped an F-bomb. That's the difference between fucking being able to really handle this shit and that nervous energy that comes out in the crazy legs. And that's just my thing, is the pace. Well, let's try and do my thing, where you stop doing that and use that energy in your promo and focus and watch yourself go to the next level of elevation of being a performer that you want to be, instead of this is just what I do. Oh, okay. So from there, he gets his jacket and cool guys off. After that, and beating the shit out of his demons, we have MJF backstage with Wardlow. He says last week was an embarrassment for the sport, and CM Punk didn't take the loss on the chin like a man as he grabbed Wardlow's hair to get out of the win. MJF says that if Wardlow had more seasoning, he would have kicked out. However, MJF then apologizes to him, saying he has been a friend, and since today's his birthday, this is what he gets. After that, he puts he docks MJF docks Wardlow's pay for a week because he effed up, but he has supreme confidence that Shawn Spears will beat the shit out of CM Punk later tonight.
Yeah, he did a good job reminding us of how shitty last week's finish was, which we talked about here.
I didn't watch.
It's just he beat the ever-loving shit out of CM Punk for an uncomfortable amount of time, and then CM Punk weekly gives him a fresh Wardlow, a small package, and wins. It's just, he thought he's doing Bret Hart, Diesel, 95 Survivor Series, but instead he's doing 2022, this shit sucks, weak small package on a giant man who was just beating you up. He gave him like 7 power bombs, and one of them was through a table outside. It's not... And then they do the spot where he beats the count. I'm just like, if you guys had any balls, you would have just had CM Punk lie there and take the L.
That's the easy way. He doesn't take the pin, and you get big man over, and it's because it's through a table. Yep. That's what it took to beat me. 6 power bombs and 1 through a table on the outside. Okay. Yep. Doesn't make you weak. That would beat me too, bro. He would have had me at 3.
Yeah, well, Ray, Silvio, and I probably combined came up with about 4 or 5 finishes they could have done instead of that last week. So they can feel free to borrow any of those for next time. Channelattitude.com.
Then we go to Adam Cole and Britt Baker for out of nowhere. Did they tie them together last week, or is this just because the internet did they? Okay.
Yes, they. Well, I mean, in so much as they did it here, where they just come out together. There was no like big announcement or anything. She just came out once and kissed him or something.
Just the fact that Cole had the heat with Shivani, we haven't even tied them together. They'll like see them showing up to the building together for a couple of weeks and whatnot. Like earlier this afternoon. Oh, perfect. So now we get an intergender tag match that's phony as fuck and goes on for way too long. This is not how you're gonna like get Adam Cole over booking him against Orange Cassidy, which we're getting next week, and we already had the 3 weeks before this in some way. And Britt Baker, this is dragging her down, putting her in this type of shit. Like, she's the champ and should be standing alone, not, aren't they the cute power couple of wrestling? Wouldn't it be nice if we put them together? And then Cassidy and Statlander. Statlander is trying to hold on to the gimmick after the comeback, but there's more money written on her right now. She needs to elevate to a higher level of character instead of the boop on the nose, doing the alien best friend thing to fit into some fucking fanboy intergender wrestling shit here that really didn't elevate anybody or any storyline. They're all doing spots that are phony. They're doing the comedy spots that Orange does with the fake run off the ropes and then touch her on the big suplex, and it buries wrestling. It's there's a time and place for comedy, and these are not the stars. Orange Cassidy, out of all 4 of these, are the only ones that should be operating in there. All these are higher level properties, or could be with Statlander if you treated them like that. I was just like, this is the shits right here. This is some carnival wrestling.
Yeah, well, I mean, Britt's fucked because they don't know what to do with the women's division. So because they don't know what to do with the women's division, they introduce a brand new belt so that they can have a tournament. Like, oh yeah, that's the answer. So like, as the champion, what does she even have going on? She's got nothing to do but this. So it's like, this is where they're at, and they have to do it. They announced Cole at 202, which is pretty funny. Not even with Britt's belt and lead boots would he be 202.
Not even close.
And it shows like here. I'll give you a tip to anybody that wants to have a match with Adam Cole. Don't punch him in the face 30 times because he sells the same as 1. So just throw 1 and save your shoulder. You don't want to tear a rotator cuff doing something stupid for somebody that doesn't respect you. And to that, the other note I had was why is Cole surprised about somebody kicking out of the Panama Sunrise? He's never beat anybody with it to this point, so I don't really see why he should still be doing the "oh my god, I can't believe he kicked out" face. But
right.
but well, I mean, Adam Cole, like
the girls do the fucking Canadian Destroyer up on the goddamn ramp. Then we do one in the ring just to show how phony wrestling is. They did one, now we'll do one. Oh, we didn't put that together and call these spots in the back. Like, nothing looks organic. And even going into the finish where they set up a table on the outside, Britt stands up with Cole in the ring. They do the shoot reverse and bit Britt off, and she takes the bump through the table, hits her own head because she didn't tuck her chin.
She slid off too. Yeah. But I'm surprised the table broke.
Right. But then I'm going, did we learn nothing from Luchas? This is the exact spot with Luchasaurus and fucking Phoenix where old boy's arm is destroyed, and we're just gonna do it again.
Yeah, you got to double down on it and show that it was a fluke, Ben. You can't sell for the table. You got to put the table down.
Pissed off about that happening to his girlfriend instead of checking on her. That's what loads it up for the fucking. He's more concerned about hitting the back of the head than his girlfriend that just got knocked out. Calls for the ref who's checking on his lady to slide in to count the 3, so then he can go out there, dude.
Don't forget him yelling at the ref to raise his hand afterwards before he went and checked on her. Like, he had to make sure they got his hand raised because it's not official unless you get your hand raised. For all the people that and you hear this,
what should have happened is if they were going to do that, and I wouldn't have had a problem with that. They were missing one part of what the story is, because who should have been down there checking on Britt?
Who?
It's all right, but Tony Schiavone. Like, if he went and did it,
he can't move that fast.
Right. Well, that was a short way to the ramp, from the ramp to the fucking. Right. He might have made it. Like, to do that, and if they would have taken time, and Cole could have peacocked around with his arm up, and Schiavone's over there checking on her, and fucking then he sees it. Now that's doing business, as Al Snow would say, right?
Sure.
They didn't do that shit. They just did a fucked up finish with no bullshit. And then Cole gets to cut a promo backstage where he's all hot and challenges Cassie. We're like, oh, big fucking deal. But the Schiavone twist is what people know about the relationship, but they're not thinking on that level, bro. They're thinking,
sadly, they're not.
They're thinking double Canadian Destroyer fucking kick out. Okay, fuck me running. Thank you.
What? Yeah. Why did they think about everything? Like 100 things at once happening, and the camera can't pick up on all of it, but then they can't think of the one simple thing that we only know about because of them. They're the ones that shoved Tony and Britt as friendship in our face, so why are they forgetting it when we're remembering it?
And Adam Cole called them out on it, and then they went away from it. And then
they went away from
it. Here's where you bring it back with a show don't tell. You don't have to have Schiavone. Why didn't you check on your woman and do all that? You just have him doing it, and Cole knows that, fuck, I should have been there, and he's the one now while I was stunting. That's letting the audience see the happening, the action for real, instead of telling it.
Well, for all the people that you I'm sure you hear just as much as I do about all the people say, what are they doing with Adam Cole? This guy needs to be this guy needs to be that. No, he's exactly where he is. If not, he deserves to be lower. This is exactly where Adam Cole belongs, stuck in the middle of this bullshit, and he does not deserve to be a main eventer, and he should not be, especially not with the crop of talent they have. Adam Cole should be nowhere near it. This is where he deserves stuck down in the bottom with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Actually, Orange Cassidy deserves more than this.
You deserve to have a $300,000 a year contract where you get to wrestle in intergender matches. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, but I'm saying I'm just talking about strictly for the marks who are complaining about his spot on the card.
Oh, you're right.
Hey, we would take any spot on the card for that amount of money. So we're not saying that. Adam Cole, you do you, buddy. But just for the people that think he deserves more, no, not really.
No. Big shout out to the chat room here. We're 33 strong, infidels as above, so below. Sonic the Hedgehog, Mike Martin, Yo Jimbo, Sir Jams, the Lab Rat, the Guardian of Chaos himself is in the house, man. Sir Jams, Jerome Hall, and Society Reviews, Frank's Pickle Barrel Ass, Cujo. I see you too, homie. J12. I like J5, but J12, and our own Conspiracy Master, Propaganda Master Al Plaza's in the house too. Appreciate you guys joining us here on Light the Fuse. Big shout out to the man Chris Silvio as we continue on. This was a night of a lot of pre-tapes, Matt. This was the difference in this show. There was so many little vignettes backstage. Here's one. Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz are backstage. Jericho, arms looking real big. Holy shit. Saying that he's bad, they're back, or they question whether Jericho had their backs, though, the whole time from day one. And next week, maybe they're going to focus on themselves instead of the group. So we get dissension in the ranks story in the inner circle to kick off.
Even guys in the same faction interrupt each other's promos. It's a very interrupty promotion they have here in AEW.
Adam Cole's next up with the Orange Cassidy thorn in his side promo for too long. And at Beach Break, he wants an anything goes, no DQ, lights out match.
Ben, I was sitting there like say it. Come on, mimosa match, mayhem. Come on, say it. Oh, didn't say it.
You wanted the mimosa match.
Oh, yeah.
Then this is what got me hot, bro, because I've seen this match and I know how good it is. And I'm a big Sean Spears mark. I think the guy has money written on him, and I think he's been passed over time and time again. Can get anything over at any level, management, enforcer, in the ring, get over in his entrance, perfect 10. The guy loves wrestling, and he is wrestling. And I'm almost 100% sure that way I saw Punk Spears in an OVW dark match 2007 or 8, and they tore it down, and it was damn good. It was during the Spears Cody feud, and then I'd seen him in six mans too, and they were great there. But I heard this match was coming. I'm like, yes, Punk is going to get Spears over for the first time, how everyone should have, how a couple of guys had tried to in WWE, and we're going to get the world's going to get to see Sean Spears hang with CM Punk, and people are going to go, this match was fucking a banger, and it's going to take him off. Nope. Spears does business for the MJF storyline, shows ass, and takes one go to sleep because it's not his time to shine, apparently, instead of what they could have done and pulled unbelievable 12 to 14 minutes and had some exciting finish. They just make Spears look like ass, and I just fucking put my head down, bro. I was like, I don't know what to fucking say, because Punk likes Spears, and he's part of the inner circle of the Cobra Kai cool kids from fucking OVW, and I'm surprised they didn't go to bat to actually perform, because to me, that's a match where Punk shows up and goes, I want Spears, and we're gonna fucking go do what we do, baby, and that broke my heart.
You say that, Ben, but
yeah.
Could this also not be, because think of your history of AEW. You've been watching it since day one. You know what they do. You know they have no problem throwing people that have no business doing a 12 to 14 minute match at any time. They'll do it. So that's really not the issue here. Could it not be something more like they had something like that laid out, and Punk is the one that says, yeah, I just don't think that at this point I would have a competitive match with this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's been known to pull things like this in the past with supposed friends of his, where he's talking about, why would I do this and why would I do that?
Believe me, I'm the first one to crucify the guy.
Well,
but in this one, I just don't feel that. I think knowing that they're in the fucking Cliff Compton, Cody, all the clique, that they would have wanted to. This is about MJF and him, so I see why they didn't do it, and I see why Spears wouldn't politic for that. And also because in MJF's promo, he's like, I have supreme confidence in Spears, so Spears gets beat instantly. It serves the phony wrestling purpose. But me as a wrestling purist and where we come from, I ribbed myself in being hopeful that we were going to finally get the match after 15 years that Spears deserves to fucking be showcased as on TV and taken away, and Spears is lowered to show ass and be the goof. But after Wardlow had lost as well, so we're playing the game out. I get it, but for me, there was a lot more there.
Which they already did this backwards. That's what we said last week. It's like you cannot start with Wardlow and then go to Spears. This was the only choice they had after they painted themselves into a corner with this, right? Like you can't have a competitive match with Shawn Spears now because nobody cares. I said last week, it's like by announcing that Shawn Spears is next week, you're just letting me know I don't have to watch next week. So that wasn't me personally, but that's the mind of that alleged casual fan that we always talk about, right? That's what they're thinking. Like, well, shit, I only cared about Wardlow and that's it. Ooh, awesome. Stevie Richards playing the game of outdoor tanning. Nice.
If you're out on the beaches in Florida right now and you see a rugged, handsome man out there tanning,
if you look at Stevie Richards' Instagram, very Christ-like with the shots of the sun shining on his silhouette on the in front of the ocean. So,
well, you're going to have to be a new age preacher to also be the mayor at the same time. He's going to be doing it all, inspiration and
damn right,
in lowering taxes.
But just to kind of put a bow on the previous. The power of this planet's yellow sun gives me CM Punk strength. Stevie Richards with the Superman reference there. So I just think that, they painted themselves into this, and we know what Shawn Spears could do, obviously. When I say to you, Ben, when I say the New York Four, what does that conjure up in your mind, thinking back to OVW?
The New York Four?
Yes. I mean, technically, Spears is Canadian, but we're going to spot him the Northeast area. It's those guys that Tommy Dreamer signed at the exact same time. Spears was one.
Mike
Cruel, Eddie Craven, and the what was the guy that was doing like the Biff, the wannabe Biff Tannen, the bully, the Bad Seed, Sean Osborne. Okay,
Bad Seed.
Now, obviously, those other three guys weren't worth a fuck, right? But Spears is still here.
Cruel was the leader of the fucking headhunters at that time.
Right. But that was still a waste of time and everybody's energy because he sucked. Right. So Spears was really the guy that they should have backed. And he's still here making money and having a somewhat of an imprint on the business to this day. And his time should come and will come, I think, at some point. So he's just got to, but I'm sure as long as the checks keep clearing, and he doesn't have to take the outrageous bumps that a lot of these other guys are liking to do, I think he'll be pretty cool with it when it's all said and done.
As long as his wife can stay off Amazon Prime, he'll be all good.
Well.
CM Punk poses on top turnbuckle. MJF hits the ring for a sneak attack, only to get cut off. He grabs him by the scarf, and MJF bails, leaving the scarf behind. Backstage, Billy Gunn's met by Christian. This interests me a little bit. He tells the boys to rank in the top 5 so they get they deserve a title shot. Cage says they have it all, but they need to make a statement. And then they do. They beat the shit out of Christian Cage. Billy fucking hucks Christian into the loading bay doors. Looks awesome. You know, dude, Billy Gunn is a great worker. Makes everything look so fucking real. And then the kids got over. He had heat with me with the pink tennis shoes. Like, he just fucking gets it. And Christian did well to sell for him here. I like the upper echelon of mentors having heat with each other and the young boys carrying out the hits. You know what I mean? I think that's a good game to play out, and they did a good job here with a voyeuristic scene for show don't tell.
Yeah, it is good. I would also like that idea of when you have that veteran presence with the younger presence, and the younger presence does their best and they can't quite come up on the baby faces, and then it's kind of like the fine, I'll do it myself moment where Thanos grabs the gauntlet. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing can be cool. They're probably not going to do that well on it though. The only thing I had on this was after he throws him into the wall or whatever, then the kid says like, the way he said it, it was weird. He said it like statement made. Like, what is this, a question? Like, you're not sure if you made a statement? It was kind of weird. I thought something else was coming.
It is a question because he said he wanted your guys to make a statement. It's like statement made, but it could have been delivered a little bit harder than what it was. But I know you're saying.
Oh, and real quick before I forget, the other best part of that previous segment where Punk grabs MJF by the scarf. And you know how JR is just pretty chill and casual now at his announcing and stuff. And his line was, he grabs him and JR's like, not the scarf. That's worse than the Dippin' Dots. So shout outs to JR for all that he's contributed over the years.
All the way through. Cody Rhodes comes back with a big ass ladder in the ring and then references Punk, and the pipe bomb is the most important speech of all time. And, you know, he's about to drop the pipe bomb too. But he says Punk couldn't do those things. A Royal Rumble chant breaks out. Cody swiftly goes back to Punk and says he's enjoying the comeback of the decade. However, in the void that Punk left behind, someone did everything that Punk said he was going to, and that was Cody. That was a good, interesting, like, shoot, bang, bang. Open the doors, help the indies out, started the promotion that's going to be the anti-establishment, where Punk is on the north side of Chicago at Chicago Comics hanging out, you know, like, and then training some Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the afternoon for fun to stay busy. Cody did do, like, that was a big undertaking. There's no doubt about it. I like how he wove that back in there. There was some weird pandering in the middle of it where it was just like putting over everybody. Like, he was putting over Malachi Black and other guys and like doing their gimmick and faces. It was very, I don't know, just trying to do, I'm the wrestling ringmaster and I'm billboarding everybody, as opposed to having my moment of truth right now, you know?
Did he workshop this?
Yeah, it was very workshop, bro. Yeah. It was very, you know, part about me, but let me try and get all this over. And it came off a little disingenuous in a couple spots. In other spots, it was very great. And they even ribbed Walter's name change. You know, that's the little hot thing on the sheets is the FU. Now, here's one thing, just I was waiting on this to go back, because Cody also references that he got sent a new contract, not the one he might have asked for. Interesting, like, driver on camera that way, because on the sheets earlier this week was Cody's a free agent right now, and we had Moxley in rehab. Did WWE pay for Moxley's rehab? What did they? I don't know if they did or not, because if they did, and we also have Cody. Was there a play made in the last 2-3 weeks from Moxley reaching out to WWE or Cody reaching out going, you need people for the Rumble, Drew's out, Kofi's out, what's it worth to bring me back? Have they? Those guys are top businessmen and players with open channels through Seth Rollins, through many people, you know, and I want to know if that's going to hit the sheets sooner or later. Of, did either of those guys that might have had a window to put the knife in Khan's back and twist it and really up the oh my God level of their career in a moment? The stars are aligned to do that with Forbidden Doors open, with Mickey James coming back and others. That would have been something that had people fucking talking. The first jump back from AEW to WWE.
Well, I don't think it was ever going to happen, because Cody's the type of guy that wants you to think that something like that might happen. He takes a perverse pleasure in toying with what he considers to be smart fans.
Could he fuck with them and done that? Sign with WWE and fucking and do it. Show up for that one, and then fuck over Vince and show up back on AEW and go, bring the fucking lawsuit, bitch, and really shake it up. Like, that
would be nice. That would be nice. Now, as for the Moxley rehab thing, I know that at one time, well, I don't know, but look, as I understood it, at one time, the rehab policy was, if you had ever worked for WWE or not, if you were ever a wrestler, WWE will pay for your rehab. That was kind of a thing that, obviously, that's not headline news every time somebody takes up WWE on their rehab offer, but we know that it has happened for guys, and guys have. So if Moxley knows that policy exists, why put it on Tony Khan's dime why not just take the WWE paid for rehab and then just continue to go on business as usual? I mean, like I said before, I mean, I joked about it, but it's true. Like, it probably drove them to drink anyway. They're responsible. Might as well pay for it.
Right.
So I think that is a possibility that could have happened. As
Stevie
for the
Richards
Cody,
the more Stevie tries to work it the other way, saying he's not in the Royal Rumble as he lays on the beach tanning and getting lean. Yeah, I'm sure he's not in the Royal Rumble.
he's not going to be in there. Hey, don't underestimate the power of Stevie Richards.
You wait until COVID hits the week before again, and they need 6 more people, and Stevie's more.
Well, what did Stevie say? He said either add a 0 or subtract time.
Yeah,
like,
add a 0. Add a 0.
So yeah, let's hold him over a barrel. So Cody's promo here, he said that he was told by somebody to save this, but he doesn't know if he's ever going to get a chance. So do guys just have promos and index cards filed away that they're waiting? You mean these guys aren't really all just speaking to me from the heart bin? You mean they've planned all of these things? Like, promos are just things that you wait to say?
Hey, trust me, Jay Lethal's injection is the one cutter people don't kick out of. Trust me. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, what is that? What is that?
What is that? Like, why are you putting that over in your promo?
My good friend Jay Lethal. So then a couple other things. He used the phrase "turn heel." He called Ricky Starks his real life friend. So you're basically exposing the business in your promo, trying to seem cool, trying to get over with that. Yep, that's right. Trying to get over with the marks again with your shoot terminology and your insider terms and your shooting on the business and stuff like that. And then at the end you wrap it all up and say, but hey, get interested in my fake wrestling ladder match that I'm about to have for these fake belts. You know, this is kind of like the Jekyll and Hyde of AEW. They cannot separate the fiction from the facts. They like to mix it. They like to wink at the audience. They like to make people go, ooh. They like to try to pop people with lines in their promos, or you know what I mean? It's
he turned his back so he knew where Hardcan was, so he could look over his shoulders.
Yeah, why are you doing that? Why are you the copper tone kid getting your pants pulled off? Like,
oh, dude, that's him though in the shot, so he can go.
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah, nice. As you can see, Ben Ed Wooding his whole background there. So yeah, that kind of shit is just a big turnoff for me. I equated it to so everybody, big Game of Thrones fan, I'm sure everybody loves Game of Thrones. So remember that episode where they accidentally left a Starbucks cup in the shot?
Yeah, on the shop.
Okay,
right.
So that was a mistake. And HBO erased it out of there, and you're never going to see that again unless you remember it when it happened. And so that's going to be like gone from history. It was a mistake or is either a mistake or it was something somebody did on purpose as their version of a rib. Like, hey, let's see if they notice the Starbucks cup. Of course, everybody does, because nobody has any life. They're all watching Game of Thrones. They saw the eagle-eyed fans. They see everything. They saw that cup. They're like, there's a cup. You fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up. Okay, Game of Thrones takes it. Okay, that's one thing. AEW's like, everybody's walking around with a Starbucks cup. You know, fucking Daenerys Targaryen's got a Starbucks. You know, her dragon's got a Starbucks. The mountain's got a Starbucks. They're just drinking Starbucks right in your face. And there's no Starbucks in the show, but they all got a cup with the Starbucks logo on it, and they're just drinking it, right? Like, that's what AEW is. They don't separate the reality from the fiction, which they have to. If you're going to claim that you're writing TV, then you have to write TV and leave real life off of it, unless you can make it something that doesn't expose the business, right?
I always, when I'm having a real life conversation, have to hit a mark so I can look over my shoulder and give you a fucking coy. Yes, I did.
Of course, every time. And when I listen to you guys, when I listen to your podcast and stuff, Ben, that's what I picture you doing. Like, I'm picturing you hitting all your marks and getting all your cues right. You're counting yourself down as you're promoting all these idiots for all the fuck ups they do. You're giving yourself the signals. I know we're all doing that.
Backstage revealed Anna Jay will challenge for the TBS Championship. Mark Sterling says they're thrilled to accept the challenge. As Anna Jay reminds Jade there's a dark side to her. I might not use those words. And she will do whatever it takes to win. Jay says Anna needs to understand where they are. This is that bitch show. So now we all understand.
Hey, Ben, she talked about wrapping her arm in barbed wire. You want to cut the promo again from Rampage Uncaged, please? You want to take another sip? Take another sip. Cut the promo.
Your money is sex, sweetheart, and it's not about that. That made everybody look stupid. That's not your flavor of ice cream on the Baskin Robbins 31 flavors. And don't say things about being dark after a girl was just in a race tweet on fucking New Year's where you can go that way. And you also don't empower women by calling yourselves bitches as well. So everybody's a fucking moron in this and doesn't know what their part is in the show. So please go back to the Nightmare Factory and start again, or start going to OVW and asking Al to book you in long-term business so you can actually learn how to do business for yourself, protect your angle, and learn how to get over, because you need the reps, because this learning on the job bullshit is embarrassing to me.
See, this is the nice Ben that I get. This is what I'm talking about. I didn't get the fired up Ben. I got the nice, calm, rational, explaining it, sitting the child down. Now listen, sweetie. Next time you want to wrap barbed wire around something, make sure it's that ass.
Yeah, if you want to get at me, you got to do it at midnight when I'm liquored up. The House
duly
of
noted.
Black
Duly noted.
versus Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. Here we are with the Satanists versus the cast of Grease.
Oh, you notice Brody King wearing the Malcolm X jacket? He's taking the whole black thing very seriously.
Really, he's about BLM. Yeah, Brody King, I haven't really seen him work much, but fits right in the Aleister Black, character mythos as a backup guy. I'm just looking at him going, damn, there goes Butcher and Blade spot, because we got those guys and we kind of, they're an even harder version of what those guys were supposed to be. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to fend with two teams that look pretty identical. And there's a couple things where I thought Brody King protected guys on the outside, like catching them as they came through, make sure they were safe. They didn't look phony.
He tried.
No, that's what I'm saying. He was trying to do that. So
these guys weren't helping him too much.
But it impressed me that he was actually going out of his way, because on the debut, a lot of guys would be like, fuck this is my time. Boom, kill you. But Brody King was very safe in a lot of moments that could have been way like, oh shit, sketchy. He saved some possible injuries, man. I've
seen Brody King a bit, and he's never offended me. So
yeah, no, I'm just not familiar with him, dude. So but I was impressed with that, the big tattooed from neck.
Yeah, he looks like somebody that would just be rotten and hurt you, but he's really coordinated. He's really fast, very agile. His body doesn't look like much, but that he pretty much knows what he's doing in there, Yeah. So I'm not too worried about it. And like I said, dude, it's like Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr., like, bless their hearts, dude. They do they have 5 years of experience between them? I mean,
no, I don't think so. And they both have money written on them. They have potential. No, the story in the match that was weird. Was he was going to do the springboard and he stops himself. Is that because 2 weeks ago he did the springboard and caught his toes on it and did the front roll and then got snap kicked? So now he's lost confidence in his athletic ability to do the springboard. Because I don't know if they played that out last week in any way or not.
I don't remember them being there last week. They might have had a promo, but
but that's interesting. You know, that feels like him talking to Rip to me. Like, what do? I botched on TV. Play into it.
Well, wait. Well, Ben, no, it was not a botch. That was a planned bump.
Oh, really?
I swear to God, yes. Anybody that thinks it's a botch, they just don't know what they're looking at. But if you would have saw it, you would have saw it, because it came off like the whole thing was, I go for the springboard, I fall and hit my face, immediate kick. Yes, it was not a botch.
I don't know. It felt to me like, because I watched Aleister Black and it looked like we worked our ass off. Here it comes. We're going to do the big high spot and bang, and you botched it. And now I got to wait on you. And it was like, because he broke and was like, really, dude? Snap kick.
Well, that's what you'd be thinking. But think about this. Like, the timing of it was too good for, like, because Brian Pillman Jr., the way he sold it, did not sell like a real thing. He sold it like it was a planned bump. So Aleister Black, probably smart enough. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I know it's a playing spot, but I'm saying maybe the thought process being like, look, if I try to catch you out of the air with this thing, it might look like shit, but I could definitely hit it if you just stand up and feed for it like normal. So rather than take the risk of it looking like shit, he probably just wanted to. And trust me, as a guy that one time slapped his leg when he missed, what's the guy's name? You know, the guy that they ribbed on SmackDown having his shirt off all the time, the big caveman looking guy, Chat, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he after being on a pay-per-view and missing a kick by 4 feet and still slapping your leg, he probably wants to minimize his TV fuck-ups forever.
But that's interesting to me either way. So regardless if it was a botch and whatnot, the story is losing confidence in your athleticism. And then that starts costing matches. And as a catalyst, that feels very ripped to me.
Could,
you know
could
what I mean? So that's an interesting storyline, and I like that to play it out. What I don't like is when fucking Brian Pillman's in there and he's being held by one guy. They're gonna run a double team, and he's gonna do the big boot. Even while he's being held, he slaps his thigh while he does the boot, bro. We gotta stop with the thigh slap. And I saw a clip of Aubrey Edwards on a tag fucking call. They tag off camera. She fucking puts her arm up and slaps her thigh for the fucking tag instead of going tag like that. Now, whether she thinks that's cute and there is ribbing of whatever it is that everybody slaps their thigh, and like that shit gets me heated, bro. So Brian Pillman Jr. should be way better than that and should never be doing, like, just eliminate that stuff. That thigh slapping shit is for small houses on the indies for people who can really do it. It's not to be doing on TV to make the sound. Nobody can hear that past the second row. It's not being picked up and nobody believes it's real. So just stop and throw your shit how it should be thrown. But they're just backstage putting their stuff together, and then they go out to the ring and they actually go instead of fucking
that's
thing. Like they actually do what they're just calling backstage to get their little pop.
That's all they ever knew. That's all they ever knew. So
it kills me, bro. It kills me.
Yeah, it's sad.
House of Black's up with a big fuck off double team dominator victory. That was a good showing, and I like that weird little storyline of lack of confidence in something. Haven't seen that.
And Lars Sullivan, the guy I was trying to think of a minute ago.
Lars Sullivan, gotcha. Malachi Black gets on the microphone, but then Pac appears in a video. Pac probably stole the show for me. This was a great promo. You want to talk Game of Thrones? The guy's got his eyes bandaged like the fuck a blind, oracle to some degree, and just delivering perfect cadence, that medieval feeling that guy knows what flavor of ice cream he is on the fucking card, not a hot chick wrapping her hand in barbed wire. He knows he's in the Jon Snow shit, and he's
got the Starbucks in his hand, like ready to.
Yeah, right, dude. This was a great fucking promo for a pre-tape, very well produced, and Pac has just such a distinct sound, and this played to all his strengths. I really like this little pre-tape at the end.
Certainly an underused talent in AEW. He's been able to, ever since I've watched him, he's been able to kind of do anything with anything he's given, and well, we all know him for his high flying and stuff, but most of his stuff is pretty solid. There's some iffy psychology sometimes, but I think that's not as much him as it is like having to sort of like acquiesce to certain things that these kids want to do, not really wanting to do, but you know how it is. You kind of compromise on certain stuff. Well, maybe not you, Ben. You just hit them and put them in the clutch. But I'm just talking about other wrestlers, like that they probably do stuff that they would like, well, I guess, all right, like that kind of thing. So other than that, he can do pretty much anything. And this was a really good, cool little video they had.
Yeah, for guys who can get over with athleticism, watch me do character too, which so few understand. And good for him. Brandon Cutler is backstage with Roppongi Vice. Rocky Romero cuts a good little promo too. So he's tired of hearing the same stuff and tells Trent, Furry Trent, that they beat the Young Bucks, so they'll put out the challenge for the team at Rampage. So we're going to get Bucks versus Roppongi Vice in a New Japan Classic, I guess. So Destino podcast and Jargo will like it. Yeah,
listen,
well, I mean,
listen, I come on here and I sing the praises of New Japan every chance I get, okay? And I want to say right here in public, okay, this is not representative of New Japan. Okay. These guys they can be associated in name only. This is not the product. Do not take this as like whatever they do next week. Do not sit there and say, oh, that's what the vet likes. No. None of these guys, none of this, nothing. I wash my hands of all of it.
That's what the vet likes, and that's what he's going to get. We get Frankie Kazarian versus Lance Archer with Jake Roberts and Dan Lambert. Backstage, we had a promo that's not in here with Jake Roberts back there. So I'm glad to see he kicked out because he was COVID stricken, and with his size, age, and amount of self-abuse that he's done, could have been a dangerous situation. But again, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, you can't kill Jake the Snake Roberts. It's going to take more than a slight variation on the common cold to kill Jake Roberts.
Now the Damien variant is loose, and it's going to be.
What about the Revelations variant?
That's coming next. That's the sixth shot when you get the sixth shot. Lance Archer hits big elbow strike on Kazarian. Kazarian getting marched higher. He's going to do business. And Archer looks good in this, man. Even when Kazarian gets back up on him, and bumps him over, he just looked solid as far as being in control in the ring of what he wants to do. And he's talking shit to the camera, to Hangman Page. He's tired of the cowboy shit while he beats on Kazarian. Archer goes for a choke slam. Kazarian reverses, fights back, charges him in the corner. Reverse blackout, which leads to Kazarian fighting his way out, follows up with a missile dropkick. Well, after some brief fighting, Archer connects with a choke slam and then follows up with the blackout for the win on Kazarian and cuts a promo afterwards. Said enough cowboy shit and all that shit pretty much. So that's where your next feud's going, which I like. I see Lance Archer. There's just money written on a classic big man right there. And hopefully we stop doing moonsaults and taking chances we don't need to. He's got some Undertaker on him in the way that he works and moves. I like it.
Yeah, I saw something a little different.
I know why Dan Lambert's with him.
Well, yeah, that's that's my note. Lambert with Archer, huh? Yeah, last week he kind of, it all happened last week. You guys can catch that on channelattitude.com. But
right.
But yeah, so it doesn't make sense. I saw a little something different. I kind of see like Lance Archer's been off for a while. He looks fat. He's running out of gas in this match. Some stuff got sloppy, especially toward the end. I was asking why is Kaz in this spot? He had nothing to do with anything. He wasn't on last week. He hasn't been on in I don't know how many weeks. I guess they were just saying
he's going to be their Dolph Ziggler. He's going to.
They want. Well, I get that. I could only assume that they were thinking like, well, let's get him in there with somebody safe. Since he's coming back and everything like that, let's make sure that we get him a decent match with Kaz. Well, he doesn't need a decent match right now. He needs to kill somebody right now. And it doesn't matter if the person he kills is any good at protecting him or not. He just needs to kill him and get the fuck out of there before he gets blown up. So I don't really
call Colin Delaney again for that one.
Yeah, please. Can we just
back for Wardlow and fucking he's back, but he doesn't know who his opponent is and
yeah, anything but this. And no one believes that Archer will win because he hasn't ever won anything really. So it's just one of these things where it's like, oh, we need to get Hangman Page a strong win because the internet's talking about how he's not a good champion. Fuck off. Just don't make, you have to make these guys something. Before you can use them in this spot. They brought Lance Archer in to lose. They brought guys like Wardlow in to lose. I think it's like, and then they try to rebuild after. It shouldn't be like that. It should be, you should have a bunch of guys who are undefeated. And then when they get matched up with the guys that you really want to be on top, like instead of all these tall jack guys, and then you want like the Hangman Pages and the Kenny Omegas and stuff to be the real top of the card guys.
Adam Cole take out
the Adam Coles, you know what I mean? Like the Bryan Danielsons, like those are the guys you want to be on the top. And then over here you've got Archer, Hobbs, Wardlow, Hager, like all these other guys like that are just huge and jacked. It's like those guys being undefeated makes the win of the eventual win for all those small guys mean a lot more, because you probably got two undefeated guys. Like, well, something's got to give. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Instead, they bring them in hard L. Then it's like, oh, now we'll give them the jobbers. No. All backwards. Like, but what you know, what else is it going to be?
Not to be disappointed, Page runs in and they fight, and then Archer leaves him laying, but he knocks him back into the ring, then does the buckshot lariat after hitting him with the boot, one arm, and sends Archer out of the ring, standing on his feet, doing the big flip over the top rope. So the violence at the end was the business. The match didn't mean anything anyway. So Kazarian's just there, and they're going, who's back here to put over fucking, like the whatever.
Which one of these 150 guys are back here? It was Bear Country too busy?
And if I was sitting there and I'm going, who do I trust the most to make fucking Archer look good, even though because we got nothing else for him, and Kazarian's a 20-year pro. You got Bobby Roode and Ziggler doing the same thing. I put Kazarian right on the same. It sucks that the Elite Hunter thing didn't work, got scrapped, but that's what it is right here. So
well, he can always go back to hunting elites. It's a never-ending hunt. Sometimes just put on pause.
Sometimes they'll walk by. You got to bait them in, all that kind of shit.
Well, the most telling line of this entire segment was said by Excalibur, where after the end, when he's talking about Dan Lambert kind of pushing Lance Archer away, he's saying there's no money in fighting Hangman right now, and I'm like, you said it, brother.
Backstage, Dante Martin says Matt Seidel's been watching his back. Seidel's got your back.
What does that mean?
I don't know either. I love, we're big Seidel guys, but never be like, all right, we're ready to fuck somebody up. Seidel's got my back.
Yeah.
So he is Seidel, you're rooting for from underneath and watching him fly. So he has his Lee Moriarty's back, and they say, well, watch his back. And then we cut to Ricky Starks and Hobbs, and they say that nobody's his friend, and Hobbs tells him to have people watching your front, back. And then I popped. He goes, and side to side. Like, you have people watch your front, back, and side to side. So we get the hip hop reference in there. It goes over most people's heads, but I gave points to Hobbs on that one. So in a segment where I'm usually like, whatever, that made me laugh for as stupid wrestling it is. We get another one backstage. Layla Hirsch then confronts Chris Statlander for costing them thousands. Red Velvet tries to calm her down, but tells her to shut up. And then Layla attacks both women. So here we are on the 7th backstage gimmick. And then in the ring, we have Sky Blue. And I go, who? The sexy little thing, young rookie. And then out she comes, the professor of professional wrestling, Serena Deeb. And I go, oh, that's right. We're going to have a squash get-over. And we do have a squash get-over. And we have Emmy Award winning, as far as I'm concerned, cameraman work.
The bird's eye view. Bird's eye view. That's the only shot you needed to see, guys. If you missed this, go find it. That's the shot, Frank. I'm looking at you, Frank. Frank, you want to see this.
Yeah.
Sky Blue at a compromising position, let's say, to put it delicately. Yes.
And I wouldn't doubt that Serena eggied him because it's sexy and it's violent. There's no sex in your violence, whatever, man. This was it. So Serena out wrestles this young girl and then gets her into the Tequila Sunrise setup, bashes her knee into the ground, hooks her in the single leg crab, and then they cut to the Wile E. Coyote cam and go down while this girl split legged with her crotch directly at the cam, tapping out. It's tape trader, masturbator hot, but it's also wrestling violent cool at the same time. Two very strange flavors of Baskin Robbins, and you're like, these kind of taste good together.
Yeah. It's the flavors I didn't know I wanted.
The only thing, I mean, Serena's gear looks good, and I think she just likes the way she looks in that color, because that, if you think back, that's the original Serena gear color from 2006, that mint bluish aqua or whatever it is. But as a vicious heel, it's not enhancing the violence of how it is, because she looks like a baby face, but she's working like a vicious heel. So I know reds and blacks and that she looks good in dark purple and things along those lines. I think it'd be her color. I like the way the gear looks, and she'll usually find something that's functional and comfortable and get a couple different things made in that style in darker colors. So I think that's the only thing that's really I would change in this quick get over matches. She looked a little bit too much like a baby, and it took away from her heel violence because of it.
It's going to take a lot to take away from what she does in the ring. So
Sure.
I feel like, you know, as a character, you would wear whatever you want. You're not going to conform to a trope or something like that. And that's really for people that, that's for people.
Early Hammy Award for the cameraman last night on the pin in that, and the producers who cut to that. You are early 2022 Hammy Award champion.
Yeah, take a screenshot because you're not getting a 3D printed trophy. But yeah, like that, you know, the worrying about the color scheme is for the people that can't quite get over as much. So I think Serena will be okay here as long as she maybe it was laundry day. Who knows? That could have been her only clean gear. We don't know.
Well, she got new gear. It's just like you said, her heel work is going to outdo that. It's just like, if you're talking total package and you don't want any confusion, that's just the only thing, just a little bit, because a young girl tuning in would be like, she looks cool, I want to be like her, and then she's working super heel, and it's a little bit like, okay, counter.
Well, that just means that the little girl at home's going to be a heel when
That's
she grows up. That's all that means.
Backstage again, Ethan Page tells Jon Moxley he's up to the task. He's been racking up victories, and he tells Tony Khan to look no further. He's ready to face John on Friday. Interesting, because we were wondering, are they going to do anything with the temptation like they did with Jake Roberts when he came back off the wagon, right? And we had all that. Are they going to do something? And I could see Ethan Page, even if it's verbal and doesn't have to have a bottle of whiskey there or something, being the one to get the verbal jabs in to stoke that fire in a certain way. He's definitely a guy who could be that heel catalyst to say all the wrong things.
Yeah, nothing to add there. You pretty much covered it.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I took your moment. Sammy Guevara is then shown on vacation with his usual cards. His vacation didn't impress me, even though he was in Brazil. He doesn't talk, but the writing explains that he accepts Cody's challenge for the ladder match.
Wow, it's nice that he had all that prepared, that he knew Cody was going to challenge him to the ladder match.
Super phony, right?
I guess he got a live feed at his vacation spot. Why don't you do that, Ben? Why did anybody have to cover for you? Why didn't you just do all the podcasts right from your phone? You didn't even need to talk. You could have just had the cue cards too, like everything you wanted to say, because you already knew what Stevie was going to say. You already knew what Vince was going to say, so you just had your cards pre-prepared and you just hold them up. Easy, right?
I should have done that. Maybe I did.
Yeah, so you know, that's one of the great realism that we have on
What are we doing?
There it is.
Eats is my suspension. Why is this fucking muting every time? Good rib. YOLO infidels, that's right. How's the weather treating you up there? Word on the sheets is my suspension has just been lifted from Immortal Championship Moron Wrestling just in time for Immortal Combat. So you can bring Sub-Zeros, you can bring anyone you want, the Scorpions, because Hacker Hamin and the Greeks and the Sheiks will return with all of the gold, victorious as always, moron. So enjoy your lockdown, enjoy your 33 below zero weather, and I will be down here serving out the rest of my suspension on Epstein Island, morons. So hear me now. That's right, if you want the Immortal One back, the Omnicron Virant is about to attack, so get all of your booster shots, infidels, because at Immortal Championship Wrestling, it will be a true fatality for all of you infidels. Ya Allah, Ya Mohammed, Ya Hamid. Is that good enough for you, Vet? No?
That was very good. Did any of the people like walking by in the background come up to you after and be like, "Hey, man, what the hell are you doing?"
Yeah, there was.
What was that about?
Or like, what the fuck? Yeah, no, there was some Karens who were pissed off as always. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
I just got to put in the reggae music underneath. then they're doing flyovers and shit. I think Clinton was flying in while I was cutting that promo.
Well, of course.
He was at dinner later that night, so it might have been him. The Acclaimed. No, sorry. First, we have Matt Hardy backstage. This is a weird and stupid promo. Matt Hardy is shown backstage, and he's sold Andrade 51% of HFO. Andrade says he is the president, El Presidente now, and Matt says that they will be AFHO moving forward. Andrade says Darby Allin is someone they want in the group. What?
Well, what? Andrade's been trying to buy stuff for like several weeks in a row now, and everybody keeps like turning him down, but he finally got one, huh?
Yeah, this was ridiculous. This is a bunch of guys they don't know what to do with. Everyone keeps putting Andrade over as this is the guy, and now we're mixing him in with Hardy Party and these guys with his manager, and he can't stand alone. That doesn't, to me, say you're a top guy and you're over and you know what your voice is, who you're supposed to be, what feuds. Like, how do you go into a company, sign a contract, and not go, you got that guy and you got that guy and you got that guy. Here's what I'd like to do for the next 4 quarters and how I can do business in between them all. We can elevate and take the whole thing on a ride that'll bring us all the way back around. How do you not have that as a pro wrestler of 20 years of being ready to go and take care of your own business when for the first time you have that opportunity to do so? Nope. We're at AFHO, just like we always planned and dreamed about.
Well, I mean, this is the backyard wrestler who made it too far. I don't know how much credit we should give him. Or maybe he got it knocked out of him over the years.
Dude, Matt Hardy, I give all the credit to after fucking being the final deletion and all that of getting back over. That this is just like if the Andrade mythos should be able to stand alone and the guy's got leading man good looks like a Latino version of fucking Adam Cole. Why are we not making him into that? Why are we not doing him versus Adam Cole in a fucking Mission Impossible Tom Cruise versus the drug cartels? Why don't we just write these fucking things that are right there in front of us to tell with the players that we have on our roster? That promo in 30 seconds to me says, I just fucked the next 3 months of my career because this ain't going nowhere and I'm going to have to be restarted again and or released because he's going to want Bray Wyatt, Braun, and I'm doing this dumb shit instead of saying, yeah, I can get myself elevated so when those guys come in, they're going to work with me to be a top player. I don't know how wrestlers don't have the foresight.
I do.
The Acclaimed versus Darby Allin and Sting in the main event. As always, the Acclaimed.
Hey, at what point did we get the hook package? Didn't we get a hook package?
Oh, yeah,
at some point?
They left.
There was.
They left it. It was right around here. There is
he doesn't work. He doesn't work Wednesday
shit.
nights.
He's got the fucking merch. What?
Got to support Hook. Everybody, go out and get your Hook Shirt Pro Wrestling tees.
Like, I'm not trying to be like, dude's had 2 matches and he's Taz's kid, Mark, but the way they presented him, the Action Bronson, the not giving a fuck, the fucking getting over the jujitsu, you know, they've done a good job of making a little bastard you want to punch in the face and that you don't want your daughter to bring home.
And like I was saying too, like a lot of that works because of the how many months of him doing jack shit in the background, just standing there doing nothing, saying nothing. Like without that, it means half as much. But because he's done nothing, you just assume he's a punk and he can't do shit. And then he finally gets a thing and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
And don't overexpose it. Keep it small.
Yes.
Like why try and compete with everybody else when you can just do that for the next year and fucking dude, the money is like the money is not fucking Jurassic Express or whatever. That's gonna stop. You gotta break out Jungle Boy as a fucking babyface heartthrob and fucking you gotta have Hook as his opponent. Dude, for the Teen Beat magazine, you can even get Sammy Guevara in there, you know, in some way. That's who you want to push for the younger fucking viewers to get them over. Like there's a lot there.
Well,
a whole 90210 style of thing is there, bro.
Well, let's mark this down right now. January 20th, 2022. at 3:03 p.m. Eastern, 12:03 p.m. Pacific, I'm saying this. The first real person, and that you can take as long as you want to get this, several weeks, several months, a year, I don't care. The first real person that Hook has to have the program with is Darby. 100%. Because who was the person that Taz went to and said, hey, kid, I got some advice for you if you'd like to, and who got brushed off by, you know what I mean? Like, so Taz started Team Taz after getting brushed off by Darby Allin. That's your long-term storytelling.
Does Taz get back in the ring to tag with him to go against Sting?
Nope, he just sends the kid. He just sends the kid like, I don't even have to leave the announce desk for this. He sends the kid, and then Hook goes in there with Darby, and he does Darby just like he does Bear Country or any of the other jobbers that he did. Just beats him like 4 minutes flat. And everybody's like, what the fuck? That's Darby Allin. That's the guy that does this, that, and the other thing. And he needs to just fucking smoke Darby Allin.
What do you think about that? So they're down there. Sting's not with them. Sting's on commentary right next to fucking Taz, and Taz got to take it. And then Taz just looks at him. What do you think about that, Stinger? What do you think about that one?
Right.
Like, so we don't have to have them touching we can even stand up and Sting and be looking down on them. You better go get your boy before I tell my boy to go back and do the same thing. You better watch it. And then Hook has to walk by Sting and fucking eyeball him, or even give Sting a shoulder block on the way out, like a fuck you. You know what I mean? There's opportunity there. I like that. That's great all the way around storytelling, Vet. Good job. I think so. Excellent. But in the beginning of this,
speaking of Darby,
yeah. So speaking of Darby, the Acclaimed come down and they get a shot in on WWE. They got the shot in on the girls messing themselves up on Rampage. So self-mutilation, grotesque self-mutilation is what you'll get if you deal with the Acclaimed. So some good wordplay in there, and then also a diss on Sting at the end about not being over since Starrcade 97 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And the crowd popped big on that. So I'm glad they're using the Acclaimed how they should, to be controversial, where they get themselves over. They can take a shot at WWE. They can do something off of the headlines, and they can do something against their opponents. I think that's a good little, map to follow every time. You can fill in with X amount of different opportunities there for good punchlines. And these guys got money on them. You know, what else they say? They go, we're already black or white. We don't have to paint our face.
Yeah, that was probably the best line to me.
Paint our faces. Yeah, good stuff, man.
And they have been, I mentioned this too, the last week, they have been a little bit more watered down ever since that whole thing that happened with the Simone Biles shit. So, but they're still trying to, we know that they could be much more creative, and it's just that a little bit of the bite has been taken out of some of their stuff, so that's unfortunate. But
they're doing tongue in cheek instead of controversial, which isn't.
But maybe they're just in freestyle jail, and after like a few more months, they'll be able to go back to they'll serve their time, and then they'll be able to hit a little bit harder on some of this stuff. So, but
I mean, what I would really do is keep them soft, and then bring in Hit Row and let Hit Row hit harder, and that makes them break out the big guns, as far as that
beef goes. We call it in the business.
Beef. But right away they get on Darby, hook him up with the fucking chair around his neck, and then give him a nasty post job, and he's down and out, and the trainers are checking on him, and they don't throw up the X, so it's half a work, and they take him away, and Stinger's got to carry the whole fucking load here. There's a couple bad Sting punches where they're feeding for him, and Sting is out of place. He just barely taps the one dude. He takes a bump, like a little backhand tap from Sting is enough to do it, and then he loads up on the other guy. But they work some heat on him, and Acclaim looks good as Sting fires up, does all the splashes in the corners, but then Caster pulls away a turnbuckle pad, and Stinger crashes into a good heat spot there. Good cutoff. I like that. And then it's heels on top on Sting with kind of basic kick punch, so he doesn't have to take a bunch of things. And then he hit him with the fucking JVC kaboom box and lay him out. And then Darby Allin.
More WWE references here by the Acclaimed. The
JVC. Then we get the Spirit of 76 with Darby returning with the big fall fuck everybody up. It's the coffin drop on both guys on the outside. And they set up old boy on the table. Stinger goes up onto the fucking ramp, does the running Stinger splash, probably better than he's ever done it in WCW, puts him through the table. Darby hits the fucking coffin splash, locks in submission for the victory, and baby's up, and the crowd pops big, man. Dude, Stinger, from being in the corner to really going into some battles here, better than what I've ever liked him in NWA or WCW, to be honest with you. So, it was a good babies up finish on this, man.
Well, if you stick around long enough, you'll build up some equity, even with Ben Hamin. I would also like to remind you, Ben, that you can pre-order a Sting Micro Brawler for $19.99. So get right on that. You want to get them before they're sold out. They were saying that like right in the middle of Sting's dire predicament, where he's getting savagely beaten by these two guys. They're like, you can pre-order the Sting Micro. So that was funny. The table bump was weird. Like, did you notice that he was like bent over it, face down? Like, who gives a guy a splash that's like bent like on his back when he's bent over? That was.
It did like when Bowens came around and hit the exposed turnbuckle, though. That was good. Of like Stinger hits it for the cutoff, he hits it for that to go into the finish. Boom.
Right.
You know what I mean? I did like that.
Yeah, I think the Acclaimed, everybody thinks about the Raps, but I think they're actually, for as young in the business as they are, like in the ring, and the amount of reps they must not have, they're pretty decent, like psychology wise. They just got to shore up a few things, but I mean, I am way more entertained watching the Acclaimed as a tag team than I am watching FTR as a tag team.
Last night on the AEW self-help group, I'd played all Sting songs in the
Sting
background. So Sting was wrestling the Fields of Gold and Roxanne. Every breath you take, every moment.
In the Fields of Barley, we saw Sting. But I will say this, just to wrap this up here, man. It just didn't feel like a main event without Daniel Garcia in 2.0. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like. Yeah. You know where your bread is buttered. Where are they? They weren't even on this show at all. Daniel Garcia needs to be in every AEW main event. Have we not learned anything?
Somebody's got to flip. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. This show had good and bad. You know what I missed in that girls the intergender match? How about when the girls did all the chain wrestling shit with the fucking hook with the backslides, and it was so like,
that was so rotten.
It was so rotten, bro. It was like a 16 chain thing that they walked through, and none of it was organic. It was just
that thing that Britt Baker did, which I call it the every girl learns this move. Because it was something that I would see, like when they kept bringing in like the lingerie models to be wrestlers, and back when we were in the, like in the heat of trying to break in, and they bring in all these models, and they get on a Diva Search and stuff like that. They all do this move where I don't know what the move is called, but it's like they sort of like sweep the leg into a cradle, like a half cradle, and then do like a front flip over and like go into like a bridging pin.
Right.
And it's like, it doesn't matter if it was like a great wrestler like Serena or a Playboy centerfold like Candice Michelle. They all did this move just to show that they could do a complicated move. And Britt Baker tried it here and just fucked it up. And she's a better worker than all of them. So I don't know how that happened, but oh man, just don't guys. You don't need to do that.
The ripcord, that whole sequence, man. I was like, come on with the fucking. Just learn how to chain wrestle. You're wasting your time rehearsing chain wrestling instead of just doing chain wrestling.
Well, yeah. Plus, Ben, at that point in the match, we're past chain wrestling. Yeah. We're about to do the table spot. What are you doing fucking wrestling? The wrestling's over. It's fight time. That's the guys, the psychology for all you guys listening live and listening after it's taped. The psychology of wrestling is, and Stevie Richards will tell you this every single time, it's supposed to be a good old-fashioned athletic contest that breaks down into a fight.
Right.
You don't start with the fight and then go back to headlocks. It just doesn't work that way. So
it's the baby face out wrestling the heel of competition that makes the heel strike or do something dastardly to get on top because he can't out wrestle the baby face. But you have to show that. You have to show him trying to and getting reversed along the way. Instead, they do it all backwards, and they just go, see, we did chain, and they don't know
Yeah.
why or where it
No.
needs to go or anything.
No, bro.
But people say they're the best in the world, bro. They're not even the best in second grade, dude. They're in the corner with the dunce cap on most of the time with this shit.
Yeah.
So
do people not tell them this because A, they don't ask, B, they don't even know, or is it C, like they don't think that they need to like be aware of these type of things?
I think you're right on all of those right there. And what kills me is that there's what is stopping. Maybe they're just all burnt out.
Like, is Arn Anderson just reading the newspaper?
Right.
Like,
dude, Dean Malenko, Arn
Yeah.
Anderson, totally. That's why JR goes, this young lady is probably my favorite performer, man or woman, because he knows he's tired of seeing ridiculous. Like, that's JR going, everybody else is an idiot. This girl is one of the only ones who actually knows how to put a match together and wrestle. That's why I like her. When he says that about Serena,
yeah,
that's what he's really saying about the rest of the entire roster who is clueless. And to have all those guys from Christian to backstage, Mark Henry, Big Show, and why is nobody going, come here? Because those kids will mark out for them to get that knowledge, or if they're that far in their bubble, then they're beyond help if you're not going to ask for it. Because if they watch that match back and think that, yeah, we nailed it and this is what we should be doing, there's no psychology or sense in that match whatsoever, dude.
well, a lot of shit like that falls on the producer too, whoever that is. So you gotta, like, if you lay this match out, or if they lay it out to you and you approve it, either way, somebody's got to ask a question like, why did you put that one here? It should have been up here at the front. I mean, these are just simple things. And
I think that nobody's laying out any of their shit. I think they're getting a finish, and because
they're laying it out. They memorized this match.
They are.
Yeah,
but no agent is doing. They're just going, no, dude, you can't tell Adam Cole and Britt what to do. They're a power couple in wrestling, and fucking they can handle it. They're pros. Well, then the bell rings. and there's guys, because if Dean is watching that backstage, there's no way he's like not going and just like 2 minutes in walking away, dude. Dustin, like that match made zero sense, and especially with big things like that in it. But here nor there, it was another AEW Dynamite promo spectacular tonight, man. Everybody cutting promos backstage, in ring. No lights out. That was a strange thing. Where we've been playing that game, or we not playing that game? Who knows? Some debuts and some good and bad reviews. But the Vet, man, where they can follow him at Opinion Haver on Twitter. I'm not sure it's the same on Instagram.
Oh yes, it's everywhere you can find anything. That's what it's going to be. If it's not that, it's not me.
Awesome, man. Well, like I said, man, I appreciate you filling in on so many shows, Impact, Attack, and here, wherever we need you. The Vet will answer the call, because that's what he does, man. When you're in trouble in wrestling, there's only one man if you can find him, and that's the Vet.
Send out the V signal. Oh, sorry,
right.
Velvet.
V team. Yeah, I gotta get back to those ladies too, man. And you can join us on channelattitude.com and become an exclusive subscriber to get all of the best wrestling review shows, that we don't go live with, and you can help support the Hamin Media Group platform so we can continue to thrive. And check out all Russo brand shows, and I had a great Master Shoot Theater this week. Good to be back here. We hope Sylvia will join us next week, but he and Genocide are chilling out, and she has to wait on him hand and foot till she throws him out on the front lawn. So, but y'all, you guys, hopefully we'll get the Hammies going here soon as well. So stay tuned to everything we got going on. Interact in the Hamin Media discussion group. The postseason NFL Pick'em Challenge is going on right now, along with all the watch-alongs, and I'm sure the Royal Rumble picking will begin here soon as well. So, Vet, I look forward to seeing what your picks are and for what reasons. But y'all, infidels, we did it all real big once again. Before Stinger can splash me through a table, I'm going to light the fuse. Let's go, Hook.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
Japanese.